Everybody loves a happy ending, right? But this ending isn't happy, it's a nightmare. Our story began in the year 786 in ancient Baghdad. When Sultan died, Harun al-Rashid rose to the throne. He married Tamina, a princess from the kingdom of Kufa, a land known for its deep roots in witchcraft and magic. But unlike dark sorcery, the people of Kufa used their powers for good, earning them great respect. This made Tamina, now the queen of Baghdad, an honored figure among the people. Rahman al-Rashid, the Sultan's second son and Harun's younger brother, was always loyal to his family. He respected his brother's rule and advised him on matters of politics. But then, something changed. Without warning, without a word, Rahman left the palace. No one knew why. He disappeared from the royal life, abandoned his title, and chose to live as a simple silk merchant. In time, he married a beautiful woman named Shahrazad, and together they found what seemed like the perfect home, sold to them by a Christian priest. Years passed, and that couple built a family with 4 sons: Hassan, Ali, Qasim, and Ahmed. Life was peaceful until the strange events began. It started with Hassan, the eldest. He had a terrifying nightmare of a black-cloaked woman beating him with a stick. But when he woke up, the bruises were real, fresh marks across his back. Then, one night, all 4 children heard footsteps circling their beds, but when they looked, no one was there. They ran to their father, terrified, but Rahman refused to believe them. Why did Rahman leave the palace? What was the priest hiding? And what dark secrets did this house hold? Tonight, we uncover the truth. Few weeks had passed since the night of that strange sound. Rahman and his wife had forgotten what had happened. But the kid, they wouldn't forget the terrible night so easily. For the past few weeks, Rahman's life had taken an unexpected and dreadful turn. His once successful silk business, once the pride of Baghdad's bustling markets, was now collapsing. Orders were vanishing. Trusted clients turned away. The business that once brought him wealth was now buried in debt, owing hundreds of thousands of dirhams. Rahman couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a misfortune, or was someone working against him in the shadows. Not only that, misfortune struck Rahman's homes as well. His beautiful wife, Shahrazad, suddenly fell ill. She grew weaker and weaker by the day, unable to walk, and the doctor prescribed complete bed rest for 2 months. No one could understand why everything was going wrong at once, as if fate itself had turned against them. But just when Rahman was losing all hope, something unexpected happened. A strange dream was seen by Ahmed, the youngest son of the 4. In the dream, there was a woman dressed in white. Her face was pale, almost lifeless, with dark, hollow eyes that stared without blinking. She stood in the middle of the foggy forest, wrapped in flowing white robes that draped over her like a shadow, the trees behind her dark and never-ending. Yet everything was silent, as if the forest itself was afraid to move. She came closer and whispered, "Beneath your home, where the silence breathes, gold sleeps in the shadowy creeps. Beside the dead, it waits in gloom, for one who dares to break its tomb." Ahmad was only 9, yet he remembered every detail of his dream and eagerly told his father. Rahman listened carefully, his mind racing as he tried to make sense of it. He had solved many difficult problems in his life, and this riddle should have been no challenge for him. But something felt different this time. No matter how much he thought, he couldn't be so sure if he had truly understood it. According to his interpretation, the riddle suggested that a treasure of gold was hidden somewhere in their home, an idea so unlikely that even he struggled to believe it. Rahman shared the incident with Shahrazad and asked, "What do you think about this?" She looked worried and said, "We shouldn't believe it. It might be a hoax, or perhaps a bad jinn playing tricks through our son's dream." But Rahman wasn't convinced. Something deep inside urged him to search for the treasure. After suffering so many losses and with his wife sick, he couldn't afford to ignore even the slightest hope. Besides, he would never ask for help from the palace, from his brother. His pride would never allow it. Tonight, Rahman was determined to find the treasure. But where could it be? The only place that came to mind was beneath the atrium balcony, a section of the house that had been abandoned since they moved in, almost forgotten and separate from their living space. With his 2 eldest sons, Hassan and Ali, he made his way downstairs, bringing Ahmad along as well. Since Ahmad had seen the dream, perhaps he could offer some guidance. Rahman examined the whole area, then took a deep breath and struck the dusty ground with his hoe. His sons joined him, their hands working tirelessly. Time passed. An hour, then 2, then 6. They dug through the night. Their hope pushed them forward. A whole day passed, then another, then another. By the 4th day, exhaustion weighed heavy on them. But suddenly, Abba, there it is! That's the goal! Ahmad's voice rang out, filled with excitement. Rahman's heart raced as he stepped forward, but when he looked down, all he saw was a bone. A bone. Rahman frowned, wiping sweat from his face. There's nothing there, Ahmad. What are you talking about? But the 9-year-old wasn't listening. His eyes were glooming, locked onto the bone, as if he saw something no one else could. Ahmad grinned. Exactly, you cannot see it, yet. Rahman felt a shiver down his spine. What do you mean? Ahmad's voice was steady, filled with an eerie confidence. The woman in my dream said the gold would only be visible to me at first. We need to take it upstairs, place it in a room, and leave it there overnight. By morning, the gold will be visible to everyone, and we will be able to use it. Ahmad guided his father and brothers as they climbed down into the hole. He pointed to the chest, instructed them, go to the east side, grab the handle, and lift it up. To Rahman, there was nothing, just empty air. But to Ahmad, they were carrying a chest overflowing with gold, a treasure grand enough to change their lives forever. Carefully, they brought it upstairs, placed it inside the room, and shut the door for the night. Ahmad told them to wait until the first sun ray touched the sky, the moment when the Fajr time ends. Every second felt like an eternity. The house felt silent as everyone slept, but Rahman could not. He lay awake, his heart racing with hope. Finally, the horizon glowed. The sun began to rise, slowly, gently. He got up, step by step, he moved towards the room, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Finally, he opened the door, and there was nothing. His excitement shattered in an instant. He rushed inside, searching every corner, but the room was empty. The treasure was gone. Then, a cry echoed from the other room. It was Ahmad. Rahman ran to him. It's gone. The gold is gone. Ahmad cried. She took it with her. Shahrazad, who was sitting beside him, asked gently, She? Who? Tears streamed down Ahmad's face as he whispered, The woman from my dream. Rahman knelt beside him, trying to calm him. Calm down, Ahmad. Tell me, what happened? Ahmad took a shaky breath. The gold was supposed to be there, but it's gone. She took it. She came into my dream again. She said someone is buried in her home. A cursed soul is trapped inside her house. She said our family is cursed. As soon as Ahmad uttered those words, Rahman's heart pounded. Without wasting a second, he grabbed the hoe and ran downstairs. He dug furiously, his hands moving on their own, driven by a desperate need to see the truth with his own eyes. Dirt flew in every direction. Then he froze. Buried beneath their home lay a human skeleton. The sight was enough to send chills down his spine. His hands trembled as he realized that someone had been buried here all this time. His mind raced. Who was this? How long had it been here? He swallowed hard, forcing himself to gather the bones carefully into a sack before climbing back up. When Shahrazad saw the bag, her face went pale. I told you not to fall for this, she cried, her voice breaking. Now we will never be at peace, knowing a body was buried beneath us all this time. Rahman's jaw tightened. What should I do now? Throw it away. Get rid of it, she pleaded. But Rahman shook his head. It's not that simple. Even if we remove the skeleton, the curse will remain. We need help. Shahrazad's eyes filled with fear. So what are we going to do? Rahman took a deep breath. I am going to Kufa, the city of witchcraft. They practice sorcery, not for harm, but for the good of people. Shahrazad gasped. No, I won't let you go to the city. Even if they do good, I don't trust them. My mother died because of Kufa. I cannot let you go. Rahman clenched his fist. This is the only way. I have to go. Tears rolled down Shahrazad's cheeks. Please, for God's sake, don't go. Go to the palace instead. Ask for your brother's help. Tamina is the princess of Kufa. She will tell you what to do. But please, don't go there yourself. I beg you. Rahman's face darkened with anger. You know I foresaw the palace 20 years ago. I made a pledge never to return, and I intend to keep it that way. I must go to Kufa. I will be back in 5 days. Saying this, he turned and walked away, leaving his sick wife crying behind him, unaware that this might be the last time he would ever see her. After 2 days of relentless travel, Rahman finally stood before the fabled city of witchcraft and sorcery, Kufa. He had once seen his sister-in-law, Tamina, the queen of Baghdad, heal the afflicted with her mystical arts, bringing peace to restless souls. Inspired by this, he had come seeking answers. Though it was his first time in Kufa, he knew exactly where he needed to go, to Sheikh Saeed. The Sheikh was a renowned scholar and sorcerer, known for handling matters beyond ordinary understanding. Rahman arrived at the Sheikh's humble place and greeted him. The Sheikh, a wise man in his 60s, listened patiently as Rahman recounted everything. The strange incident with the kids, the hidden treasure, the curse remained buried beneath his home. Finally, Rahman handed over the sack containing the skeleton. Sheikh Saeed placed his hand on the skull. He closed his eyes and whispered ancient incantations. Rahman watched intently, his heart pounding in anticipation. Moments passed in silence before the Sheikh finally murmured, eyes still shut. The skeleton belonged to a man, a religious man, trapped by a powerful spell, cursed. His name was Yohanun. He was a priest. Rahman's breath caught. Yohanun? That's the same priest we bought our home from. How is this possible? How did he end up buried there? I never saw him again after the sale. Sheikh Saeed slowly opened his eyes, locked his gaze onto Rahman's. His voice was steady but chilling. The reason you never saw him again, the reason he was buried in your home, is because when he sold you that house, he was already dead. He has been dead all this time. Rahman could not believe his ear. This had to be some kind of trick. How could any of this be real? His mind raced, trying to grasp the impossible. He wanted to ask 1,000 questions, but no words would come out. Before he could collect his thoughts, Sheikh Saeed spoke again. I don't know. How did he die? Why did he sell the house to you? I cannot say. This is as far as I can go. Still in shock, Rahman asked, Then who will tell us? Sheikh calmly replied, The priest himself. Confused, Rahman asked, How is that possible? Sheikh leaned forward and said, Astral Projection. Rahman frowned. Astral Projection? What is that? Sheikh explained. It is a way for a living soul to travel to the world of dead. Rahman's heart skipped a beat. Wait, you mean I have to die to get the answers? No, thank you, I'll pass. Sheikh laughed. No, you won't die. Your physical body will remain here, safe, but your soul will enter the realm of the dead, and there you will find the priest and uncover the truth. Rahman sounded serious. Tell me more about this world. Sheikh began. This world is a place beyond time. It's a dark realm filled with tortured souls of the dead, like that priest. So, are you ready? Scared, Rahman hesitated and said, Yeah, let's do this. Sheikh put 2 chairs, one for Rahman at the center of the room and one for himself. Both of them sat down onto their places. Sheikh had this little device called metronome, which produced the tick sound. Sheikh told Rahman to close his eyes and just listen to his words and the tick sound of the clock. Rahman closed his eyes, trying to be relaxed, attentively listening to Sheikh's words. Once you are gone, there will be entities who would try to enter your physical body because those cursed souls crave life, the chance to live again. Remember why you are traveling and keep one foot in this world. Do not draw attention to yourself. If they realize you are not one of them, they will come for a physical body in this world. Just go, find the priest, talk to him, and come out. Simple enough. Rahman closed his eyes, listening to the sound of metronome, trying to focus and focus and focus. Nothing happened. He opened his eyes, got up and said, This is not working. But suddenly, Rahman froze. His breath caught in his throat as he looked down at himself. He was standing, but his body was still sitting in the chair. He was in the astral projection. The room was eerily silent. No ticking of the metronome, no Sheikh Saeed, nothing. The world around him was not the same. The walls of the Sheikh's room looked faded, almost translucent, as if they were merely shadows of what they once were. A strange chill ran down Rahman's spine. The air felt heavy. Then, in the distance, he heard it. A whisper. Faint, almost indistinguishable. He turned his head sharply, but there was nothing. And then another whisper. Closer this time. The hair on his neck stood. Rahman forced himself to remember Sheikh's words. Swallowing his fear, he took his first step into the world of dead.